Smash is a beloved fighting game series from Nintendo with a whole bunch of characters from various series, whether that be first party or third party. Spanning all the way back from the N64, the series has been getting games on every single Nintendo home console, along with the 3DS, and I've been playing the series since Brawl, or at least, that's when I got into the series. And of course, I've really enjoyed them, and here I am making this video. And while I didn't go up playing the entries before Brawl, I did go back to them after some time when I got a good enough PC to emulate Melee and 64. And all these games I think are still fun regardless of where I placed them on this video. It's just that some of them I felt for me were better feeling or just had stuff that I liked a lot more. And I also want to mention, if you like my videos, consider leaving a sub and of course a like on the video. I also do have a Twitter which is linked down below, so if you want you can follow me down there also. And with that, let's get into the video, starting with my least favorite entry, that being Smash 64. With this entry, it's definitely got the first game syndrome. It's got a lot of great ideas, and I just think it's not really fleshed out, or it just feels kinda clunky. It's still fun to play, but after playing the more modern Smashes, it can feel a bit odd. Like for example, there's no side specials or charge for Smash Attack, which after coming back from say playing Brawl and Smash Roll, it kinda threw me off. And there's no other types of grabbing in this game, like there's just the grab, and then you can throw them, and that's it, which is really odd to me again. But it's nothing too bad, since I think anyone who played the other Smashes can adjust to this. It just might take a while. And again, it's not all that bad because it's still got some fun aspects. Like I did end up liking the stages, since all of them, if not most of them, have some unique aspects to them. Like for example, there were the tornadoes on Hyrule Castle, the all-wings on Sector Z, and the lava on Planet Sevis. It's got some stages with minimal gimmicks like Dreamland, but even then I still think it's a fine stage. The single player is also nice, but it's pretty limited, but it's understandable since, again, Smash 64 was the first game. I also did like with the single player, at least with both the platforms and target test, those two all unique to every single character, so at least with that, it gives you an incentive to at least try them all and try to master every single character's moveset. And overall, while I do like Smash 64, a lot of the other entries do what this game did a lot better. Now moving on to my second least favorite entry, that being Melee. And this entry definitely has a lot of positives, from the improvements to the gameplay and all the nice single player content. But other aspects like the roster, adventure mode, and some odd moments in the gameplay that I just don't really like as much. It's still a massive improvement from Smash 64, and I'm surprised it's solid as it is, considering there's only a 2-year gap. And I can see why many people love it, just because the sheer amount of an increase that the roster had, for more than double than the original, the huge amount of fun stages, and a good chunk of single player content to make sure you keep coming back to it. Maybe since I'm so used to the other Smash games having a little bit more, that's why Melee didn't leave as much of an impact as I thought it would. But even I can admit, what Melee does well, I think it does really well. And it's still nice to see that it's being played in a ton of tournaments for the longest time, considering at the time of this video, it's like 11, almost 12 years old at this point. And again, I just think it's nice to see because, it shows the dedication of the players of the game. And now we move to the midway point of this list. And this entry, from what I've seen over the years, is considered to be a little bit lackluster. And that's gotta be Brawl. I can understand why, since, the move from Melee in terms of gameplay didn't really meet some of the fans' expectations, because it is quite slower, but for me, I personally don't mind. And this is also the case if you played stuff like Smash 4, Ultimate, and maybe even Smash 64, since they all a bit faster. But I think the amount of content here is still really great, and that's a big reason why I like it. There is also random tripping, which is extremely infuriating, but at the same time, it's just something that's kind of minor, and again, the amount of stuff that's in here is really cool. And while stuff like the target test is the same for every character, I think adding a co-op mode to the events, a boss rush mode, and subspace definitely made up for a lot of the other issues I had with the game, because it's just really fun. The roster I also really love. It had a whole lot of cool characters, and ones that I imagine no one in 2009 would have expected. Characters like Pit, who hadn't gotten a game for the longest time at that point, Ike, a character I ended up playing because his moveset was cool and unique, and two massive third-party characters, that being Sonic and Snake. both of which were very out of character, especially for the time, since again, at that point only Nintendo characters were added, and Sonic was basically Nintendo's, I guess, rival, because, of what happened in the 90s, and then there's Snake, who, again, it's Snake, so he doesn't really fit Smash's aesthetic, but still, it was really great to see them, and those were really great third-party additions, and at that point, it kind of just added the thing of, oh, now anyone can get in. The stage list here also has to have some of my favorites in the whole series. Stages like Mario Circuit, The Bridge of Eldin, Battleship Halberd, and Smashville to name a few. There's a lot of fun stages here, and there's also some melee stages like Green Greens, Temple, and Pokemon Stadium that came back. And the latter two are ones I ended up liking quite a bit as well, so it's nice to see them come back. And while might have not been a massive jump in gameplay like Melee was to Smash 64, I still think it was a fun title with a lot of good stuff going for it. But I can see why others prefer other entries, since Brawl has stuff like tripping and slow gameplay, so, it's kind of obvious to me. Now moving on to my second favorite entry on the list, and if you've been paying attention, you might have guessed Smash 4, but nah, I'm gonna put Smash Ultimate here. This entry was super hyped for myself, more so than Smash 4. I think the initial trailer definitely had me interested, and the trailer at E3 definitely had me more hooked because it revealed a lot of really cool stuff, like, every single character and Ridley. It was an exciting time, and I think the game, when it released, definitely lived up to the hype for the most part. It definitely is one of the most fun play Smash games to me. Its gameplay is somewhere in between Smash and Melee, and I don't mind that since I think it's kind of like the perfect balance. It's got some nice single player modes that I really enjoyed, like Smashdown and the different rule sets for Squad Strike. There are others I found to be just okay, like Water Light and the Spirit Board, and a lot of the other ones are also fun as well. I also liked how Classic Mode was handled here, since everyone gets a slightly more unique path, which is pretty cool. The character roster is fantastic because, it has everyone from previous entry, with 12 more DLC characters, which is just amazing. I absolutely love this roster, and there's a ton of characters here I like playing, and some of them I actually like playing here than the past versions just because I feel like the gameplay makes it a little bit more fun for me. It was also a joy to see most of the stages return. And it kind of sucks that not all of them did. I also think it's kind of lackluster that, we didn't get a whole lot of new stages. We got a new stage for every single DLC character, but just most stages unique to Smash Ultimate, it was a small amount, which kind of sucks. And I can kind of get why Ultimate did add in 3 stages, it's just I hope they add a lot more, because I think the only 3 stages they added was small battlefield, and that's pretty much it. And I think the game's insanely fun. I just wish a lot of the single player stuff was a little bit better, but regardless, it's got a great roster by a long shot, and the gameplay is definitely one of the best in the series. Now we move on to my favorite Smash entry, that being Smash 4. And while the speed of the gameplay might be a bit slower than Melee and Ultimate, I don't mind since it's a really good speed for me. I also think the single player in this entry has a lot of modes I like Crazy Auto and Master Auto, and while not all of them are amazing like Smash 2, even in the end I still kinda liked it. Even older modes like Classic Mode has a little bit of a twist which I don't mind. Event matches will also kinda change, and I still really do like them here. And then we also have the 3DS only modes, like Smash Run, which was really fun, which I kinda wish they brought back to Smash Ultimate and the Wii U version. And while the roster doesn't have everyone like Smash Ultimate, I don't mind since I still think it's a good selection, and with all the DLC that we got, I just think it's a little bit better. Not that it's better than Smash Ultimate, it's just it made Smash Bros. Roster a little bit better. We got characters like Mewtwo come back along with newcomers like Ryu and Cloud, which was cool. From the characters to the mode, Smash 4 definitely is one of the more unique entries, and while it does suck it doesn't have an adventure mode like some other entries, I still think it's one of my favorites because of just everything else. And I think it's understandable to why any of the Smash games can be someone's favorite since they all have unique rosters, different modes, and how they're handled, along with just how the games are played. And while some of them might have more to do multiplayer-wise, everything is still great. And I don't mind the smaller rosters of the older games since, they were big for the time, and they still have a decent amount of fun matchups you can have, and I'm still really glad that stuff like Melee is played competitively because, it's pretty old at this. And while some of the other Smash games won't get that same luxury, I still think it's really fun to go back to them and just either play competitively with, your friends or just do whatever the game has to offer and maybe even just play multiplayer matches by yourself, who knows. But with that, I want to hear which entries you guys ended up liking the most. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and again, I just want to remind you guys, don't forget to like, comment, sub, and follow my Twitter, which is linked down below. Thank you again, and see you guys later.